Casio W-59-1V 1-year review.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Frugal Watchbox channel. A year ago, I picked up this Casio W-59-1V for just $13, and honestly, that's cheaper than a decent meal these days. Now, after a whole year, it's time to see if this budget-friendly timepiece has stood the test of time, or if it's just another watch collecting dust in my drawer. I'll be honest, I haven't exactly abused this watch. I wear it occasionally for casual outings, but when it comes to the real rough and tough jobs, yard work, jungle trekking, swimming in the river, or clearing out muddy drains, that's a job for my Skmei 1412, aka my beater watch. That thing has survived conditions that would make most watches cry for mercy. Now, I did make one big change to the W-59-1V. I swapped out its resin strap for a genuine leather band from my Casio MTP 1175. Why? Well, it made the watch look a bit more sophisticated, like it had finally graduated from gym class to a business meeting. But for the sake of this review, and especially the water resistance test, I've switched back to the original resin strap. Because, let's be real, I'm not about to drown a perfectly good leather band in the name of science. That being said, I really like this watch for a few reasons. First, the size. At just 33.6 millimeters, it sits perfectly on my 6.5-inch wrist. Not too big, not too small, just right. It's a rare find these days when most brands are pushing oversized watches that feel like wearing a wall clock on your wrist. Second, the design. That retro aesthetic takes me straight back to the good old days when digital watches were the future, and wearing one made you feel like a tech genius. And finally, the 50mm water resistance. It's always nice knowing that if I forget to take it off before washing my hands, or if I get caught in the rain, it won't turn into an expensive paperweight. So after a whole year, how has the Casio W-59-1V held up? Is it still a reliable budget champ? Or has it started showing its age? Let's find out.
Wrist-friendly or too tiny? Let's check the specs.
Before we dive into the full review, let's take a quick look at the case dimensions. After all, a good fit can make or break a watch, literally and fashionably. The Casio W-59-1V keeps things compact and comfortable with a case diameter of 33.6 millimeters. Perfect for those of us who don't want a watch that looks like a dinner plate strapped to our wrist. The lug-to-lug distance is just 37.1 millimeters, meaning it wears nice and snug, even on smaller wrists. At only 8.7 millimeters thick, it's impressively slim, so no worries about it getting caught in your shirt cuffs or making you feel like you're lugging around a mini brick. It also has a lug width of 18 millimeters, which means finding replacement straps won't be a hassle if you ever feel like giving it a fresh new look. And here's the real kicker. This thing weighs only 22 grams. That's lighter than most packets of instant noodles. You'll barely notice it on your wrist, making it perfect for all-day wear. So, while it may not be the biggest or flashiest watch out there, the Casio W-59-1V proves that sometimes less is more, especially when it comes to comfort and wearability. Now, let's get into the review and see how it's held up after a year.
Case, bezel, crystal, and buttons, aging like fine wine or not.
Starting with the resin case and bezel, I have to admit, there are a few minor scratches here and there. Nothing major, just the usual wear and tear that comes from everyday use. Think of them as wrinkles on a wise old watch, signs of experience, not neglect. Now, the resin crystal, practically flawless. And not because it's made of some ultra-tough, space-age material, but because I've been treating this watch like a VIP guest at a luxury hotel. No drops, no bumps, no reckless handling. Just pure love and careful preservation. If this watch could talk, it would probably say, "Thanks for not treating me like your poor Skmei 1412." One of the things I appreciate about this watch is its straightforward button layout. Just 3 of them, keeping things simple. And after a full year, I'm happy to report that all 3 buttons are still working like a charm. The single button on the right, which toggles the 24-hour format, is still doing its job perfectly. Because what's a digital watch without a good old AM/PM reality check? The 2 buttons on the left control the light and mode selection, and both are still crisp and responsive. No mushy, worn-out feel here. Casio definitely built these to last. One quirky thing, though, the function imprints, the little labels telling you what each button does, are all clustered in the top left corner of the display. Why did Casio cram all the function imprints into the top left corner? Simple. There's just no extra room on the panel. Gotta save space where you can, right? It's like packing for a trip and realizing you only have one tiny pocket left for all your essentials. Overall, after 1 year, this little watch has held up impressively well. A few minor scratches on the case and bezel, but crystal clear clarity, perfectly functioning buttons, and zero complaints. Not bad for a $13 watch, right?
Dial check. Still sharp or fading away?
Now, let's take a closer look at the dial, because let's be honest, a digital watch is only as good as how clear and legible its display remains over time. Faded text, smudged lines, or missing numbers. That's the stuff of watch nightmares. But thankfully, the W-59-1V has held its ground like a champ. One of the great things about this watch is that the imprints are inside the crystal, meaning they're protected from scratches, wear, and my occasional clumsy moments. As a result, after a full year, they still look perfectly crisp. The white lines on the outer dial? Still clear, still bold, like they just got printed yesterday. The Casio logo at the top? That bold white branding is still standing proud, letting the world know you're rocking a classic. The gold alarm chrono imprint? No fading, no dullness. It still gleams like it's got something to prove. Down at the bottom, the water-resist 50M marking is still intact, and that signature red line? Still there, still adding a subtle pop of color. Even the tiny white frame around the small display panel has held its ground. It's still doing its job, making the screen feel nicely framed instead of looking like a random floating box. The gold lithium imprint remains as clear as when I first bought it. As for the actual display panel, the details are sharp as ever. The hourly time signal, hourly chime, and 24-hour toggle indicators? Still clear. No mysterious disappearing icons here. The day of the week, sitting proudly in the top middle section, still displays perfectly, so I can continue pretending I know what day it is without checking my phone. The date on the top right? Just as sharp as the day I unboxed it. No ghosting, no fading, no weird half-lit numbers. And, of course, the main time display, hour, minute, and second, bright, bold, and just as good as new. For a watch that costs less than a fast food meal, the Casio W-59-1V has done an impressive job holding up visually. No faded text, no peeling graphics, no wear and tear on the display. This dial has aged gracefully like a digital fine wine.
Bracelet and case back. Still holding up or showing battle scars?
Now, let's talk about the bracelet and case back, the parts of the watch that take the most hits from daily wear. Whether it's accidental desk dives, wrist bumps, or the occasional, "Oh no, I forgot to take my watch off before doing something questionable." These areas usually show their age the fastest. The resin band? Still looking fresh out of the box, but there's a good reason for that. Right after I bought this watch, I swapped out the stock band for a leather strap, making the original resin band an honorary backup collecting dust in my drawer. So, when I switched back for this review, I found it in pristine condition. Zero cracks, zero wears, zero complaints. It's basically like a brand new tire on a car that's been in storage for a year. No road time, no stress, just waiting to be used. Flipping the watch over, the stainless steel case back has picked up a few minor scratches over the past year. Nothing too dramatic, just the kind of light scuffing you'd expect from normal wear. Think of it as watch patina, a sign of a well-loved timepiece. But what really matters is the clarity of the engravings. And I'm happy to report that everything is still legibly crisp. The bold Casio logo on the top, still etched with authority, proudly reminding you that this is an authentic budget king. Module and model number? Sharp and clear, just in case you ever need to prove your watch's identity. Stainless steel back. Yep, still stainless, still shining like a mirror, minus a few scratches. Water-resistant 5-bar. It's still there, reassuring me that this watch can take a splash without breaking a sweat. Made in China, and the DH imprint, still perfectly legible, confirming that even budget-friendly watches can have solid craftsmanship. Overall, the bracelet and case back have held up surprisingly well after a year. The strap looks brand new, and the case back, while carrying a few minor battle scars, still looks great with all markings intact. Not bad for a watch that's been through a year of occasional wear, swaps, and wrist adventures.
Viewing angles, still sharp or a ghosting nightmare.
Now, let's talk viewing angles, because what good is a digital watch if you have to look at it straight on like a robot just to read the time? A solid display should be clear from any angle, whether you're casually checking the time or sneakily glancing at it during a boring meeting. After a full year, I'm happy to report that the Casio W-59's display is still going strong. No ghosting, no weird fading, no sudden vanishing digits. The numbers remain sharp and perfectly visible, just like the day I unboxed it. Tilting left? Still clear. Tilting right? No ghosting. A quick glance while on the move? No problem. Extreme angles? Still readable. Though at some point, I probably need to admit that checking my watch from a 170-degree tilt is just showing off. Compared to my Skmei 1412, a watch that tries and fails to copy this classic, there's a noticeable difference. The Skmei's display can be a bit, let's say, temperamental. At certain angles, the digits start fading into the abyss, and if you tilt too much, you might as well be staring into a digital black hole. The Casio W-59, on the other hand, doesn't have this problem. Some budget digital watches suffer from a strange background blur or ghosting, where faint numbers from other modes linger on the screen like a digital echo. Thankfully, that's not an issue here. The W-59's display remains clean, crisp, and ghost-free, because the only ghosts I want to deal with are the ones in horror movies, not on my watch display. After a year of use, the Casio W-59 still holds up incredibly well in the viewing angle department. Whether you check it straight on or from a slight tilt, the time remains easy to read, ghosting-free, and sharp as ever. This display might be simple, but it gets the job done. No gimmicks, no nonsense, just pure digital clarity. Now, let's move on to the next test.
LED light, a little glow, a lot of disappointment.
All right, now it's time to talk about the LED backlight, or, as I like to call it, Casio's tiny attempt at nighttime visibility. And unfortunately, this is where the W-59 stumbles a bit. Casio, why just one little LED on the left side? Why not spread the glow evenly across the whole display? Instead, we get this lonely little green light struggling to do its job, barely making it past the halfway mark. The left side of the screen, bright and glowing. The right side looks like it's conserving energy for the apocalypse. Trying to read the time in the dark? Good luck, buddy. It's basically the same LED situation as the Casio F91W. So if you've used that watch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like having a flashlight, but only pointing it at half of what you need to see. Now, could Casio have improved this with dual LEDs or an electroluminescent backlight like on some of their other models? Absolutely. But let's be honest, that would probably bump up the price. And one of the best things about this watch is its affordability. Would I be willing to pay a few extra bucks for a proper, evenly lit display? Maybe. But then again, this is a $13 watch, not a luxury timepiece. At the end of the day, the LED light works, but just barely. If you're in a completely dark room, you'll still be able to make out the time with a bit of squinting and patience. But if you were hoping for bright, even illumination, well, let's just say you might need to bring a flashlight as backup. Casio, we love you, but let's do better next time.
Alarm, a friendly beep, but not a fire alarm.
Now, let's talk about the alarm, because what good is a digital watch if it can't wake you up or remind you to take a break from doom scrolling? The Casio W-59's alarm is about as loud as the legendary F91W, which means it's decent, but not exactly earth-shattering. Need a reminder to drink water? Perfect. Need an alert to take the pizza out of the oven? Works just fine. Need something to wake you up after pulling an all-nighter? Let's just say, if you sleep like a log, this alarm might just be a gentle knock on the bark. It's not too loud, not too soft, just right for everyday use. But if you're hoping for an ear-splitting, shake-you-awake kind of alarm, you might want to stick with your phone or a proper alarm clock. Let's be real, this is a $13 watch. It's not competing with a military-grade siren or some high-tech vibrating alarm. It's a simple digital beep, and it does its job well enough. Would I have liked a bit more volume? Maybe. Would I pay extra for it? Absolutely not. Overall, the alarm works well for casual reminders, but don't count on it to pull you out of deep sleep. It's great for daily tasks, but if you need something that guarantees you'll wake up on time, you might need to double up with a second alarm, or just accept your fate of being late.
Water resistance test. Still a little submarine after a year?
All right, it's time for the ultimate survival test. Has the Casio W-59 held on to its 50-meter water resistance after a whole year of use? Or has it secretly turned into a tiny, wrist-worn sponge? Let's find out. First, I gave it a good old-fashioned tap water shower, just to see if it would panic under pressure. A steady stream of water rushed over the case, the buttons, the crystal, and the case back. Did it break? Nope. Did it complain? Not a chance. So far, so good. But let's turn up the difficulty. Next, I went full watch scientist mode and ran tap water directly over the watch for a few minutes. Water splashed over the case, buttons, and screen. Still no signs of trouble. Then, I took a step further and dropped it into a sink full of water. For a few moments, it sat there, completely submerged, as if waiting for its 007 moment. Leaking? Not a drop. Malfunctions? Nope. Still ticking or beeping like a champ. It passed with flying colors, not even a hint of moisture inside. After one full year, the Casio W-59 still holds its 50-meter water resistance like champ. No leaks, no issues, just pure Casio reliability. Would I go deep-sea diving with it? Probably not. Would I trust it for showers, rain, and accidental dunkings? Absolutely. For a $13 watch, this is solid performance. It's still a great little Casio that can handle daily splashes, swims, and maybe even an unexpected push into a pool. Just don't try to take it on a scuba expedition.
On the wrist. Small but mighty.
Now, let's talk about how this little Casio W-59 wears on the wrist, because comfort and style matter, even on a budget-friendly watch. With a 33.6mm case size and a 37.1mm lug-to-lug distance, this watch fits my 6.5-inch wrist like a dream. It sits light, comfortable, and barely noticeable, until, of course, I need to check the time and admire its retro charm. This compact size makes it a great choice for both men and women who love smaller, vintage-style watches. It's got that classic 80s digital vibe that works with just about anything, from casual streetwear to full-on nostalgic nerd mode. Now, if you have a larger wrist, you might look down at this watch and think, did I accidentally buy a kid's watch? But hey, if you love that retro Casio aesthetic, why not rock it with confidence? After all, size is subjective, and watch fashion is all about owning your style. Could it be too small for some people? Sure, but does it absolutely nail the vintage digital look? 100%. If you're a fan of retro-inspired watches, don't hesitate. Just strap it on and embrace the nostalgia.
Features at a glance.
The Casio W-59 packs all the essentials into its compact case. 1. Stopwatch. 1/100-second precision, up to 59 minutes, 59.99 seconds, with elapsed time, split time, and first to second place tracking. 2. Alarms. Daily alarm plus hourly time signal to keep you on schedule. 3. Light. Basic LED illumination, just don't expect a floodlight. 4. Calendar. Auto calendar, but only 28 days for February. Leap years need manual adjustments. 5. Accuracy. Plus or minus 30 seconds per month. Pretty solid for a budget digital watch. 6. Timekeeping. Supports 12 24-hour formats and displays hour, minute, second, PM, date, and day. Simple, functional, and reliable. Just classic Casio goodness in a no-nonsense package.
Casio W-59-1V. The good, the bad, and the quirky.
So, after spending a year with this little retro gem, what are the pros and cons? Let's break it down. Pros. 1. Classic Casio reliability. Tells time, takes a beating, and keeps ticking. No nonsense, no drama. 2. Light as a feather. At just 22 grams, you might forget you're wearing it. Until someone asks, hey, is that a vintage Casio? 3. 50 meters water resistance. Swim, shower, get caught in the rain, it can handle it. Just don't go deep sea diving. 4. Retro cool factor. If you love 80s, 90s digital watches, this oozes nostalgia. Bonus points if you pair it with a Walkman. 5. Budget friendly. Seriously, $13? That's cheaper than a fancy coffee. And this won't be gone in 5 minutes. 6. Perfect for small wrists. At 33.6 millimeters. It fits comfortably on smaller wrists, but still makes a statement. Cons. 1. Dim LED light. One lonely LED on the left side. If you're trying to check the time in pitch darkness, good luck. 2. Might be too small for some. If you're used to bigger watches, this might feel like a toy. But hey, small watches are making a comeback. 3. Alarm is just okay. Loud enough for reminders, but if you sleep like a rock, don't expect this to wake you up. 4. Plastic crystal. Prone to scratches if you're rough with it. But hey, that just adds character, right? 5. Basic features. No countdown timer. No world time. Just the basics. But for this price, what more do you need? If you want a simple, stylish, and ultra-affordable retro watch, this one's a no-brainer. Just don't expect it to light up the night or shake you awake in the morning.
Who should buy this? And who shouldn't?
So who is the Casio W-59 for? Well, if you're looking for a budget-friendly, retro-style digital watch that's as reliable as a sunrise, then you're in the right place. But let's break it down further. You should buy this if you love classic Casios. This is just another solid, affordable addition to your collection. You need a lightweight, everyday beater. At just 22 grams, this thing is so light you'll forget it's there, until someone compliments your cool retro watch. You appreciate simple, no-fuss digital watches, no Bluetooth, no solar charging, no unnecessary complications, just pure Casio reliability. You're on a budget. Let's be real. $13 for a watch that tells time, has a stopwatch, an alarm, and 50 water resistance? That's a steal. You love the 80s and 90s aesthetic, whether you actually grew up in that era or just appreciate the nostalgic digital vibes. This watch oozes retro charm. You have a smaller wrist, or just like smaller watches. At 33.6 millimeters, it fits perfectly on smaller wrists. And even if your wrist is bigger, rocking a vintage-sized watch is always a flex. You might want to skip this if you need a super bright backlight. The single LED on the left is, well, let's just say it's not going to blind anyone. If you check the time in the dark a lot, this might not be for you. You prefer bigger watches. If you're used to chunky G-Shocks or dive watches, this might feel like a wrist ornament rather than a timepiece. You're a heavy sleeper. The alarm is decent, but if you sleep through earthquakes, you might also sleep through this. You want a watch with modern features. This won't track your steps, check your heart rate, or read your emails. It tells time, beeps when needed, and that's about it. And that's the charm. If you love retro Casios, need a simple daily beater, or just want a reliable watch for under $15, the Casio W-59 is a fantastic choice. It's a no-nonsense digital watch that does its job and looks good doing it. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Just don't expect it to light up like a Christmas tree at night.
Final thoughts. A tiny Casio with big charm.
So, after a year of wearing and occasionally babying this Casio W-59-1V, what's the verdict? It's an absolute steal. For just $13, you get a reliable, lightweight, and nostalgic digital watch that does its job without any fuss. Sure, the light is weak, and the alarm won't wake a heavy sleeper, but come on, it's a $13 Casio. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you love classic digital watches, need a budget-friendly beater, or just want to channel some 80s tech nostalgia, this is a winner. And that's the end of this review, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Consider subscribing for more budget watch reviews. And if you want to support the channel, check out our merch. Every purchase helps keep this small channel growing. See you in the next one. Bye for now.